Hello, in today's lesson, lesson 2.2, we're working on more comparison problems. And our question is, how can we use a model to help us solve comparison problems? Okay, so our unlock the problem question is, Evan's dog weighs 7 times as much as Oksana's dog. Together, the dogs weigh 72 pounds. How much does Evan's dog weigh? And so example 1 to solve this problem is use a multiplication model. So step 1, when we do this, we're going to draw a model, and we're going to let n represent the unknown information. And so it says, let n represent how much Oksana's dog weighs. Together, the dogs weigh 72 pounds. So we're saying that. So Oksana's dog, I don't know what that is. But I do know that Evan's dog is 7 times as much as Oksana's dog. Okay? And I also know that together, the two dogs add up to 72. So why do we have 7 boxes for Evan? Well, because we know it's 7 times as much as Oksana. So whatever Oksana's dog is, we're going to put that same number for Evan's dog, because it's going to be 7 times whatever that number is. So here, there are 8 parts to this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 parts. So 8 times whatever that repeating number is will give us 72. So what times 8 gives us 72? Well, ideally we know our 8s, and we can quickly say 8 times what is 72. If we can't, we got to skip count. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72. All right. So how many times did I skip count the 8s? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 times. So 8 times 9 equals 72. So the unknown value is 9. So 9n is how much? Um, I put 9. I didn't mean to put 9. Sorry, guys. Distracted myself. 8 times 9, 72. We got that from the 8 parts here. And we know that they added up to 72. So we asked ourselves 8 times what is 72? I skip counted the 8s, and that gave me 9. So 8 times 9 equals 72. The value of n is 9. So if I write 9 there, that n is how much Oksana's dog weighs. All right. So now we move on to step 3. And we're going to find out how much Evan's dog weighs. So Evan's dog weighs 7 times as much as Oksana's dog. So Evan's dog is going to be 7 times as much as Oksana's dog of 9. 7 times 9. Let's say we didn't know that, and we do know that 9 times 5 is 45. So 6 times 9 would be 54, and 7 times 9 would be 63. And all I did here was I added 9s. Okay, 5 times 9 is an easy one to start with, and I know it's more than 5 times 9 because it says 7 times. So 63. So Evan's dog weighs 63 pounds. And so if we're putting our numbers in, we have 63 pounds for Evan's dog, 9 for Oksana's dog. 63 plus 9. 9 and 3 is 12. Regroup the 110. 6 and 1 is 7. So those are the right numbers. And so each of these, I could say, are 9s. Now that I know that. And that's why we have 7 times 9 being 63. To find how many times as much, use a multiplication model. To find how many more or fewer, model addition or subtraction. Okay, and so number 50, on page 52, example 2, we're going to use addition or a subtraction model to represent this problem. So Evan's dog weighs 63 pounds. Oksana's dog weighs 9 pounds. How much more does Evan's dog weigh than Oksana's dog? It says draw a model and let n represent the unknown. So we have a really long box here. That probably represents Evan's dog because his dog weighs more. So I'm going to say Evan's dog. And Evan's dog was 63 pounds. And this little box is Oksana's dog, who weighed 9 pounds. So if those are the known pieces of information, what's this box? This has to be the unknown. We want to know what is the difference between this box, the 63 box, and the 9 box. What is the distance here? What would you have to add to the 9 to get these two boxes to equal to each other? And so we're going to now model this equation, and we're going to find the value of n. So we know that Evan's dog is more. So we're going to put 63, and then we're going to take away the 9, and that should tell us what that missing number is. And so when we subtract 63, take away 9, that's going to be 54. So the value of n is 54. Okay, so we could say n, the 54, is the difference between the two dogs, or you could also say how much more Evan's dog weighs. All right, so number 1, Maria's dog weighs 6 times as much as her rabbit. 6 times as much as her rabbit. So this is going to be a multiplication model, times as much. Together, that means we're going to put them together, so we're going to add. The pets weigh 56 pounds. What does Maria's dog weigh? Okay, so a couple things we do know. We know that together, the dogs weigh 56 pounds. We know that the rabbit weighs less. So the rabbit is going to be n, whatever n happens to be. And the dog is going to be 6 times as much. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that makes sense that we have 6 boxes we have to fill, because the dog is 6 times as much as the rabbit. So how many parts do we have? We have the 6 for the dog, 6 times, and we have 1 for the rabbit. So we're going to write an equation to find the value of n. So 7 total parts times our unknown number has to equal 56. So ask yourself, 7 times what is 56? If we're not sure, we have to skip count. But I know that 7 times 5 is 35. So I don't have to start at 7 times 1, 7 times 2, start with something you know. You can even go backwards. You can start with 7 times 10 and subtract 7s. So I'm going to start with 7 times 5. So 7 times 6, I'm going to add 7 to the 35, and that gives me 42. So I have to get to 56. 7 times 7, 49. 7 times 8, 56. All right, so N is 8 pounds. So the rabbit weighs 8 pounds. The dog is 6 times as much. So 8 times 6. 8 times 6 is 48. So Maria's dog weighs 48 pounds. And that makes sense because 48 plus 8 is 56. Number 2, we're going to draw a model, we're going to write an equation and solve. So last month, Kim trained 3 times as many dogs as cats. If the total number of cats and dogs she trained last month is 28, how many cats did Kim train? So we know that we have to combine it because it says the total number of cats and dogs. So that's 28. And then we know that we have cats and we have dogs. And it says there are 3 times as many dogs as cats. So I'm going to say let n equal the cats. So if the cats is n, then the dogs are 3 times as many. It's like somebody walked into my classroom, right? We have a visitor. Anyway, so let's come back to our work here. So we said that the cats, we're not sure how many cats we have. We do know that we have 3 times as many dogs as the cats. All right, so if we look at some of our other problems, we're now going to solve for the value of n by writing an equation. So how many parts are there? There are 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. Okay, 4 parts. And so whatever those 4 parts are, they're each the same number. So 4 times this unknown number has to be 28. So 4 times what is 28? So we drew our model, and now it is asking us to write our equation. So 4 times some unknown number is 28. So 4 times what is 28? 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 6 is 24. And 4 times 7 is 28. So n equals 7. So she trained 7 cats. And she trained 21 dogs. Does that make sense? So if the cats is 7, what is 3 times 7? 3 times 7 would be 21. So the dogs would be 21. If you add those up, we get 28. Number 3, how many more dogs than cats did Kim train? So how many more dogs than cats? So this is a clue that we have a subtraction problem. So, and I know the dogs are going to be longer. And so on theirs, I'm going to write 21. And we know that the cat's was only 7. So we have this gap here that we have to solve. That's going to be our n. And that's the part we don't know. So we know that there's more dogs. So 21 take away 7 equals the difference. And 21 take away 7. Let's see. Well, we can't take 7 ones from 1 1, but I can rename the two tens as 110 and 10 ones. And 11 take away 7 ones is 4 ones. And 1 take away nothing is 14. So the difference is 14. 14. So 14 more dogs were trained. Okay. Would that make sense to have 14 here? Well, if I go 14 plus 7, I have 21, and the boxes would be the same. So that's correct. Number 4, write an equation and solve. Draw a model too. At the dog show, there are 4 times as many boxers as spaniels. If there are a total of 30 dogs, how many dogs are spaniels? So we know that together we have 30 dogs. We know that there are more boxers than spaniels. So I'm going to put spaniels here, and I'm going to put boxers on the top. Okay, so whatever the number of spaniels is, the boxers will be 4 times as many. So how many total parts do we have for our equation? I see 1. Let's go ahead and box this to stay consistent. Okay, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5 parts times whatever that number is gives me 30. So 5 times what is 30? Well, I know that that's 6. So n equals 6. 6 dogs are spaniels. If we were proving that to ourselves, we could write 6 here. And then what's 4 times 6? 4 times 6 is 24. 24 and 6 is 30. So this is our answer. Number 6, Ben has 3 times as many guppies as goldfish. 3 times as many goldfish as guppies. So it's a multiplication problem. He has a total of 20 fish. How many guppies does he have? Okay, so again, we're going to combine. We have 20 fish total. We have goldfish. And we have guppies. We know that we have more guppies than goldfish. In fact, we have 3 times as many. Okay, so how many parts do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. And we're solving for an unknown number, the unknown number of goldfish. And I know that together there are 20 fish. So 4 times what is 20? Well, I know that that is 5. Okay, it wants to know how many guppies there are. If there are 5 goldfish, the number of guppies would be 3 times 5. Because there's going to be 5 in each of these boxes. 3 times 5, 15 guppies. Number 5. There are 5 times as many yellow labs as terriers in the dog park. 5 times as many yellow labs. If there are a total of 18 dogs, how many dogs are terriers? So together, is going to be 18 dogs. There are more labs, so I'm going to put the terriers first, and then I'm going to have the yellow labs. And I know that the terriers are going to be I don't know how many terriers there are, so I'm going to say N. I know that the yellow labs are 5 times as many. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now let's come up with our equation to solve for the unknown letter N, unknown number N. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers, 6 parts, times whatever the unknown number is, will give me 18. So 6 times what is 18? 6, 12, 18. So 3. So N equals 3. So there are 3 terriers, and there are going to be 5 times as many yellow labs. So 3 times 5 is 15. So there are 3 terriers. Number 7. Carlita saw 5 times as many robins as cardinals. 5 times as many robins as cardinals while bird watching. She saw a total of 24 birds. How many more robins than cardinals? Okay, so let's continue. Carlita saw 5 times as many robins as cardinals while bird watching. We know that there were a total of 24. We know that there's more robins than cardinals. So I'm going to let N stand for the cardinals, and then the robins would be 5 times as many. Okay, how many total parts do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 total parts. So 6 times the unknown number equals 24. So 6 times what is 24? N has to be 4. 6, 12, 18, 24. I counted 6 4 times. So N equals 4. So there are 4 cardinals, and there are 5 times as many robins. So 4 times 5 equals 20. All right, so there's 20 robins. Now it says, how many more robins? So I know that the robins are 20, and the cardinals are 4. I'm going to represent that with just a C. And I have to find the gap between the two of them. So it's 20 take away 4, which is 16. So 16 more robins. Okay, number 8. To get to a dog show, Mr. Luna first drives 7 miles west from his home and then 3 miles north. Next, he turns east and drives 11 miles. Finally, he turns north and drives 4 miles to the dog show. How far north of Mr. Luna's home is the dog show? And to solve the problem, Dara and Cliff drew diagrams. Which diagram is correct? Well, let's see. So Dara's diagram, we have drove 7 miles, then 3 miles north, then 11 miles, and then finally 4 miles. And he's saying that that's 25. So what he did was add up all the different distances. I'm not sure that is the proper way to do it because he didn't go the same direction the whole time. So if you're going east for 11 miles, how can that be going north for 11 miles? So I don't think Dara's right. So let's look at Cliff. So he drew the house, and he said that, well, okay, Mr. Luna drove 7 miles west. All right, good. And then he went 3 miles north. Okay, so he headed up 3 miles. Then he drove back east 11 miles. And then he turned again and went 4 miles north. And he's saying he's 7 miles away. Does that make sense? I think it does because he went 3 miles north of his house. He went 4 miles, 4 more miles after he went east. So we need to just add the 4 and the 3. So Cliff's drawing is correct. Mr. Luna only went 3 miles north and 4 more miles north. So that equals 7 miles. So Dara's diagram would have been right if Mr. Luna had kept going in a straight line the entire time. But he didn't go in a straight line the entire time. The east and the west directions don't have anything to do with our question. All right, number 9, use reasoning. Valerie and Brett have a total of 24 dog show ribbons. Brett has twice as many ribbons as Valerie. How many ribbons does each have? All right, so we know that they have a total of 24. They have 24 ribbons. I know that Valerie does not have as much as Brett. So Valerie, we're going to say is N. We don't know how many she has. We do know a clue about Brett. Brett has twice as many as Valerie. So no matter what Valerie has, Brett's going to have twice as much. Okay, so now we can write an equation to solve this. There are 3 different parts. So 3 times whatever the n number is will give us 24. Well, I know 3 times 5 is 15. And 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 7 is 21. And 3 times 8 is 24. So 8. So Valerie has 8 ribbons. Brett has 2 times 8. So he has 16 ribbons. And we confirm our numbers because 16 plus 8 is 24. And 16 is twice as much as 8. Okay, number 10. Noah built a fenced dog run that is 8 yards long and 6 yards wide. He placed posts at every corner and every yard along the length and width of the run. How many posts did he use? So, what do you think we should do on this one? He built a fence. So maybe draw a picture of that. He built a fence 8 yards long, 6 yards wide. Okay, so 8 and 6. Okay, and he placed posts at every corner. Okay, so we have, those are our 4 corners, and every yard along the length and width of the run. So we know that there are 8 yards this way. We know that there are 8 yards that way. 8 plus 8, right? There's 8 yards, so there has to be a post every 8 yards. And we know that there are 6 yards going down, or the width of the fence. So we also know that we should have 6 plus 6. We should have 6 posts on each side. Okay, I don't have to add these 4 corners I put there because that's part of the 6 yards. So we have 16 plus 12. So he should have used 28 posts. All right, now number 11. Last weekend, Mandy collected 4 times as many shells as Cameron. Together, they collected 40 shells. How many shells did Mandy collect? So we're trying to find Mandy's amount. Now we're going to do that by completing the bar model. She collected more than Cameron. I'm going to let N equal Cameron. And Mandy will be 4 times as many. And together, adding the 2 of the people together, we get 40 shells. Now we can set up an equation by how many total parts we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts. So 5 times N equals 40. 5 times 8 is 40. So Cameron collected 8 shells. Mandy equals 4 times as many as Cameron. 4 times as many as Cameron. Cameron collected 8. 4 times 8 is the same as saying 2 times 8 doubled. 2 times 8 is 16. 16 plus 16 is 32. Okay, would that make sense? Is 32 plus 8 40? Yes, it is. Is 32 4 times as much as 8? Yes, it is. So we've met all the requirements of the problem. So Mandy collected 32 shells. Okay, and so that's it for our beginning lesson with solving for unknown values using models. So until our next lesson, may the numbers always be in your favor.